Hello, ninth grade biology class. This is a screencast about Mendel and Punnett squares. So Mendel was fortunate in choosing pea plants to study because the plants have 7 traits that are easily observed, and there are only 2 alleles or version of each trait or gene, and those are things like the plant is tall or short, the flowers are at the end of the stem or along the stem, the pods are green or yellow, the peas are green or yellow, etc. So one of them was round versus wrinkled, where round was the dominant feature and wrinkled was the recessive. And in the pea generation, Mendel had purebred plants that always produced the same things. So when he crossed a plant that was big R with a plant that was big R, he got all round plants, and they would only produce round plants, their offspring. Then he took wrinkled plants, little r, and he crossed them, and those turned out to be purebreds also. He happened to, well, with them, they'll always be purebreds. So with both of these things, they are homozygous, right? Homozygous recessive over here, homozygous dominant over here. And then the more interesting thing he did in the pea generation was then he crossed these offspring here and here. And what he got was plants that were all big R, little r. Note, we always put the capital letter first, because it's dominant and it blocks the lowercase letter. Right? So uppercase letter first. So here in this cross, this pea generation cross, all the offspring are round, but they all carry a gene to be wrinkled. Then we go to the F1 generation that Mendel created. And in the F1, he crossed the offspring of this group here. So he took one of these and one of these. And of course, this took him longer than it does to write these things down because he had to grow the plants. So what he ended up with was this cross, which was very interesting because in the bottom right corner here, 2 plants that were round produced a wrinkled offspring 25% of the time, and produced round offspring 75% of the time. And when he grew these plants, he grew thousands of them. So he got pretty close to the actual percentages because he had so many samples to work with. Now, looking at the offspring here, that little r is dominant, is recessive homozygous. This is dominant homozygous, but these 2 offspring here are heterozygous, like their parents. So the offspring will end up being pretty different as you go along here. And then in the F2, you can pick and do a cross. For instance, he could have done any cross that he wanted. But let's say we cross this fellow with this fellow here, right? And in F2 generation, so you have a big R, and a little r. And in this generation, we get half the offspring, are the recessive expressed trait. He's got a bunch of vocabulary to work with here, right? Because these things are homozygous, right? Meaning they're both the same. They're recessive. They also have a phenotype, which in this case is wrinkly. And they have a genotype, which in this case is little r. So just wanted to make sure that you could see all these things together. Thank you, and good luck with today's lesson. I hope it goes well.